You would think that they would let you out. But unfortunately, that's not the way it works. In some cases they do, but in many cases they don't. Forgeries. We've got a bunch of cases, including some at the Supreme Court right now, where people went like, oh my gosh, that's a new line item on my paycheck. What's that $50 coming out? And it's like union dues. And they call the union and say, well, I never signed a union card. I'm not a union member. And the union says, yes, you did. Here's the card. And it's like an X or a DocuSign signature. And they're like, where'd the hell that come from? Well, I don't know, but we received it on this date, and so you're on the hook for union dues for the next year for us to spend on God knows what. That's something we're fighting as well, and so these are all things, again, to be aware of. It seems extreme, but you would be surprised how often this kind of stuff happens. It's happening all the time. For this type of situation, and for the next one, I think as well, your best course of action is probably to start with the employer. Some states, as I think a few of the speakers have mentioned, like California, have prohibitions up where the employer is actually not going to be allowed to speak to you about this stuff, or they're not going to be allowed to take action to do anything. The union has to do it. But if it winds up becoming a situation where you have a future potential lawsuit, it actually is a good fact for you. You actually want to go to the employer first to see what they say, because it's even better if they say, I'd love to help you out, Tim, but state law in California says I can't talk to you about this. Or, well, you have to go talk to the union. And you go talk to the union, and the union may say, well, you're out of luck, right? Even if it's a forged card. So the subsequent action after you speak to the employer and don't get any traction on that is to go ahead and opt out. And if you guys haven't been over to the opt-out booth here, ton of information over there. We have a website set up through the foundation, optouttoday.com. And the cool thing is, and you can use this yourself, you can pass this off to your colleagues back home, is we do most of the heavy lifting for you. The website is set up in such a way to where you can enter your information and the form fills out for you. And in a lot of cases, we actually will mail the letter for you as well and field the initial contact with the union. So it's a very efficient, great system. So perhaps you sign something again like Glenn Laird, something non-restrictive, right? There's nothing in the card saying you can't get out. I thought I wanted to be a union member. I signed it back in 1998 or 2004. Now they're talking about all kinds of crazy stuff. I don't want to be a union member anymore. I'm going to exercise my ability pursuant to my card to stop these deductions to get out of the union. Okay. You would think that they would let you out. But unfortunately, that's not the way it works. And in some cases they do, but in many cases they don't. And so in the event that they don't let you out, I think for a non-restrictive card like that, you probably want to opt out directly. I think at that point, you're probably not going to want to go through the employer. It doesn't do you any good to waste your time with them. You probably want to go directly to the union, submit one of these opt-out forms, and get out of the union and see what they do. In some cases, they'll let you out. In a lot of cases, they'll let you out. But we are happy to become involved, and I want to hear from you and any of your colleagues. If they don't let you out and it doesn't happen that way, that's the time when we can get involved. And sometimes it takes a lawsuit. Sometimes it takes pushing it all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court. But sometimes I can write a nasty letter. You'll be surprised what a nasty letter from a lawyer will do in a lot of cases to get the, all of a sudden, I'll give you an example. I've had a client say, oh my God, I've been contacting these guys, I never signed anything, or I signed something 20 years ago. I've been trying for a year to get these guys on the phone. They won't return my phone calls. The union rep at the school told me to get lost. There's nothing I can do. And can you help me? And I say, okay, we'll sign you on as a client. And I can write a nasty demand letter to the union, and within a week, have one of these union slug attorneys come contact me and say, oh my gosh, we had no idea that Glenn Laird wanted out of the union. Oh, somebody must have answered the wrong email, and here's a check, for the money we accidentally took, and he's all set free. Sorry about that. And in some cases, we'll go ahead and sue him anyway, but it depends on the case. Again, you want to, I think, go through these steps and be thinking about Some cases, a lawsuit may be called for, right away. It may be a set of facts that's particularly attractive or particularly strong, and you might say, okay, well, this is something we're going to want to develop into a lawsuit right away. But there are non-legal ways to go about doing this, and think of this as kind of going through those steps, but always with the idea in mind that if they don't comply with the Constitution, that they're going to be hauled into court potentially.